Every morning, I get a handmade espresso from my dealer. Help me prepare for day ahead. Just as I was talking about it, the espresso arrived. Busy on work? No problem, my dealer got me. Get you updated on market news. Anytime, anywhere. Choose iPack, you first, always. Welcome to iPack, your trusted trading platform. At iPack, we keep you informed with latest news, trading ideas, allow you invest with confidence. We provide tailored investment advice to seize your opportunity and maximize your return. We're here whenever you need us, providing dedicated, real-time support. We provide one-stop solution in investment. Choose iPack, you first, always. Every morning, I get a handmade espresso from my dealer. Help me prepare for day ahead. Just as I was talking about it, the espresso arrived. Busy on work? No problem, my dealer got me. Get you updated on market news. Anytime, anywhere. Choose iPack, you first, always. Welcome to iPack, your trusted trading platform. At iPack, we keep you informed with latest news, trading ideas, allow you invest with confidence. We provide tailored investment advice to seize your opportunity and maximize your return. We're here whenever you need us, providing dedicated, real-time support. We provide one-stop solution in investment. Choose iPack, you first, always.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to the Decode Earnings Interpret Quarterly Reports webinar. Tonight we are live, so you can ask me questions, and I will answer it in a gap. Okay. I'm Hong. I'm a dealer from Inter-Pacific. You may see me always updating the stock-related info at the morning in the iPad community WhatsApp group, just like the one shows on the screen right now. And if you are Interpack clients but you are not yet joined the iPad community, feel free to use your WhatsApp, scan the QR code on the screen, and let us know your client code. Then we will add you into the group and you'll get update. We have the morning updates and about the stock, IPO, and some technical analysis. Okay, so let us start our webinar tonight. Okay, firstly, we will go through the Q&Q and YOY of the quarterly earnings with some case studies on how to observe and analyze trend pattern, use it as projections. Secondly, I will let you guys know how I interpret the commentary prospect and combine with the projected QOQ and YOY to have a clearer picture of the stock. Thirdly is the impairment, a key component for a quarterly earnings because it will affect the profit or loss of the company and that sometimes mislead us. Lastly, I'll share a template that I've been using to check further about the company growth, the result, and I'll give to you guys at the end at the stream. So please stay with me and if you are interested. Okay, let's go. So as quarterly earnings, we know is a 3 months update for investor, including profit or loss and updated information in case any changes. So why should we care that? Because it actually will affect the share price and sometimes reveal the hidden clues about the performance. It's easy for us to access, can be accessed on the Bursa announcement Malaysia, and is considered more easy to read than the analyst report, at least for most of the people. And many of the analyst report are only provided to their clients, which we cannot access. So quarterly earnings report is quite easier for us. So it's just like this. This is from the KLSE, like we always can see the results, QOQ and YOY. So about QOQ, YOY, it's the quarter on quarter. So it's like current quarter versus the previous one. And year on year. So it's the this year quarter and the previous year, but the same quarter. So do you guys always look on QOQ or YOY? Okay. For me, QOQ can tell us, is there any changes? The latest changes that can let you know. So the YOY, it can give you a more clearer picture on an overall. Right? So how the quarterly reports affect the share price up or down? So generally speaking, so when the both QOQ and YOY both are in green, which is the increase, then would be have positive reactions and from the market and the share price would be positive. If the both QOQ YOY are in a red number, which is decrease, it should be seen as a negative the impact to the market share price. So, but that's true. So let's see. So we have an example from the B-Auto. B-Auto is the distributor of the Mazda and Kia and Peugeot in Malaysia. So this is the quarterly earnings result from 2023 until now. So we can see that it's been declining from 2024 fourth until the 2025. And the whole financial year of the 2025 is all in red. Yeah, it's a very obvious decrease for Q&Q and the YOY. So would it affect the share price if just as we said? So these are the 4 quarters for the latest 4 earnings that are showing in red. So we can see definitely after the quarterly earnings release on SEP has been declining until right now. Okay, so we can see before that is a positive trend from 2023 to 2024 July is still a positive trend until here, and it switched the trend, which have a turning point hitting the highest price of 2 ringgit 67 cents, and it's all the way down to here, declining over 70%. So we can obviously see these changes is happen between the earnings release on June and earnings release on SEP. So questions come into our mind is, are we able to avoid this? Right? Can we analyze first and before everything happens? So let's back to the June 2024 when the quarter 1 2025 result just come out. And okay, sorry, when the quarter 4, and then we already can see between the quarterly earnings result between the September and the June, we already know it has been declining from the quarter 1 to the quarter 4. So we should have a clue, find out how the result comes to now. Because when it's here, it's 2 consecutive decrease year on year, which is meaning decrease from the previous year same quarter two times. So it means the growth is start to be stagnant or slow down. So at this moment, the YY is more important than QOQ. So it give you a clue from the past. So how is it performs in the past? So let us see. These are the result from 2021 to 2023. So we can observe how the performance, how's the revenue and profit grows. So we can see from the 2021, it's growing from the first quarter. Sorry. Okay, it's growing from the first quarter until the end, and year on yearly, the 2022 is better than the previous year, and then the 2023 is also better than the 2022. So we can see it's an uptrend growth from 2021 to 2023. And we need to find how is it growth. So we can see it's always the fourth quarter is the highest one throughout the year. Yeah? And the lowest one is always the first quarter. All right? So this may give us a clue that it has a trend pattern of how the company's result going. So the first quarter always the lowest, and then they start to having a better profit and growth until the quarter 4 is the highest, then it comes again to the first quarter is the lowest. So we can know the quarter 4 consistently record highest revenue and profits, and Q1 shows the lowest, and Q4 YY show great growth every year, so it's the strongest sales in the final quarter. So we now know how's the company results they are operating. So we can get these trend patterns with our criteria. So which the revenue and the profit for the next year or each year should be always like this, like a climbing ladder growth. So quarter 4 the highest, so quarter 1 the lowest. So we take back the same criteria and use this criteria and this trend pattern to check now, is it still fit or not? And this is based, and how this trend pattern is going to build is basically in the seasonality. So let me explain to you. So our human habits, we have always repeat some behavior, like we have the Chinese New Year, we have the Raya. So in that festive seasons, we always have much shopping, right? Many consumptions. We eat good foods during that month. So most restaurants and some businesses will have the most sales in that festive seasons. So which make the company's result quite good in the festive season. And number two is a lot of the nature, like some plantations, like durian, can only have the highest harvest production during the July. So in the July, August, it will expect the highest sales during July and the August. And then thirdly, we have the business operations, which sometimes you see there are promotions, there are sales, and then for the corporate to hit their KPIs. So in that month, they are doing the promotion campaigns or sales. They will also have a higher profit or revenue. So due to this seasonality, it makes our businesses will have different historical peak and different quarter that is not performing. So which making it into a trend pattern, right? So we are using this trend pattern that we identified historically in the past, and then we use the trend pattern and put in the present moment to check, is it fit? So we can see the fourth quarter is not the highest quarter anymore. And also the first quarter is not the lowest anymore. It's like change. So in this moment, we know the trend pattern are not the same anymore. Yeah? The growth is stagnant and trend pattern does not hold and the performance drop. So we can consider to sell or reduce the portion for the time now. And before this come to a worse condition. So in that case, we can have a signal before the stronger signal coming in the next quarter in Sep. All right. So this is the case for just now. So now we have another case, which is a Spritzer, which manufactures the drinks. And this is a quarterly result from 2021 to 2023. So let us have a check, see whether any trend patterns or growth. Okay, seems we have the latest one announced on May 30, and the profit is growing and the revenue also. Yeah, so it's continuously grow and hit a new high for these 3 years. So we can see from the share price from the latest quarter that we can see just now on the May, before the next quarter is having a share price positive movement. Just as we said earlier, if the QOQ and the YOY, they are both greens, then they should be expected to have positive reactions from the share market. So what about the upcoming quarterly result when we notified the result before have a growth? Yeah, So every quarter one, 2021 quarter one, 6.1 million, and 2022 quarter one, 6.6 is still improving. So every quarter one seems to have a new growing stage for the company. So and we are having a 15.5 million the quarter one. So we should expect the quarter three is better than this. As we seen, there is trend pattern on these stocks. Yeah. So until 2024, we can see the quarter one is 15.5 and the 2, 3, 4 quarters are eventually growing, and having a year on year is green for the most of the times. And then the share price is positive reactions from 130 until 154. So after we knowing how the trend pattern can be identified and based on the seasonality, we must know one thing about the business cycle. Because the trend pattern somehow will change because the business gonna have in different stage. They may be growing, then they may be in the checkout stage, and then they have the intense competitions, and they can get mature and decline. So the trend pattern may be changed during these three stage, but we cannot always know. So we must see, is it the trend pattern change? If there's changing, and possibly it will have it will maybe turn in another growth, or it's been declining, and that's the timing where you can reduce your portions and check again and waiting to be more confirmations before the next quarter result come out. So let us recap about the QOQ and YY. So both QOQ and YY are important. QOQ can always give you the quickest check on the latest profit, and YY can let you check back, is it the seasonality correct? And then secondly, you need to find out the trend pattern. After you find out the trend pattern, then we can check if the QOQ performance it is justified to the growth. Then we look at the YOY. Then we can apply it on the current earnings. All right. So coming to the commentary prospect, commentary's prospect is always at the second half of the quarterly reports, and it's like an article or the passage that is prepared by the management team. So since it's prepared by the management team, they must be quite clear what will be happen for the next quarter already. Because when the quarterly earnings release, right, the next quarter they have been experienced at least half of it. Yeah. So they definitely have clear picture about what the next quarter will be look like. So commentaries prospect that is worth for us to read on it. So how do we decode or how do we interpret the commentary prospect? Let me tell you something. So in the passage of the prospect or the article, you need to find the words that is quite clear related to up or down, good or bad, positive or negative, just like this. Like decline, decrease, fall, challenging, then you know is negative, right? And then rose, increase, improve, growth, these are considered positive. So when reading the prospects, have one technique you need to remember is if the thing is like quite blur, not very clear, then you need to be cautious. If that is very, very specific, then you know they are very confident on what they are saying. Okay, so let us have a look still. B Auto, the prospect. 2024 quarter 4 B Auto prospects on page 9. So let us read together and find out, is there any keywords in this prospect? All right. So Malaysia economy register, yeah, but nothing related to the company directly. The total industry, okay, industry register volume was, okay, lower. See, there's a keyword that's so lower. It's not growing, not increasing, it's lower. So this is a negative thing. Okay, short working month, yeah. Right, okay, next one, next page. Philippines, yeah. Okay, the automotive sector is expected to continue to register growth at a slower pace. Don't get misled, huh? Okay, at a slower pace. This is not a good thing. Due to the factors such as inflations, uncertainties. Okay, these are all negative terms. Nothing good. Okay, negative, which will have adverse impact. Okay, not a good thing. Vehicle from China impact the sales in the vehicle. Okay, challenging. Okay, so overall, after we read this 2-page, then we know it's a negative term for a prospect, and it's not very clear, and it's saying it will have many factors. So we know it's not a good prospect. And then we combine with what we have seen from the trend pattern. We know the trend pattern is changed and it does not hold the performance drop. So when a negative prospect combined with a trend pattern that is changing, not continuing the growth, and what will be happen? That time B Auto QR released on the June 12th after the market close. And then what happened to the next day share price? With a negative prospect and a trend pattern change QR. And what will happen is obviously a drop, minus 11.29. So by reading the commentary prospect, you will have a more clear pictures with the trend pattern. If you are not that confident with what you observe in the QR and the trend pattern, commentary prospect can always give you a more clearer picture and give you more confidence on your decision making. Okay, let us see another positive one. So MN Holding, the ones doing substations and the electric infrastructure for the Tenaga. So this is the commentary from 2024 quarter 3. Okay, prospect. Okay, let us read a bit. Furthermore, there has been a significant increase. Yeah, good thing. From data center. Yeah, good. This is what he can do. Okay, expected to further boost the group prospect because the TMB initiative. Gas Malaysia will have gas this capital gas project. Okay, continue. Water and sewage constitute fundamental utilities. Upkeep. Okay, water, nothing with electric. Okay, contract. These contracts are expected to contribute to the group's earning over the next 2 to 3 financial years. Okay, seems very strong that can fulfill your profits for 2 to 3 financial year. in overall, the groups maintain confidence, resilience, and continued growth. So you can see the differences with the prospect just now and the prospect now we are reading. It's a different feelings that giving you and how the management are presenting their attitude about their prospects. And this one is quite confident. So how about the QOQ and the YY results? Yeah. Okay. All right. Although the revenue seems not continuous, but the profit is getting higher. From the quarter one to quarter four is improving non-stoply, and the quarter one with a new one. So we can see is overall an uptrend. Okay, with a positive prospect. And the latest one have both in green QQ and YY. Then the market share price should be positive reacted. Yeah. So after the quarterly earnings release, the share price have a positive react for 30% plus. Okay. So let us recap for the commentary prospect. So the thing is, the first one you have to scan the keywords, positive or the negative, and then see what kind of feelings they're giving you. Okay. And then combine back with the QOQ, YOY trend pattern to give you a more clearer pictures, thus more confidence for your decision. Right? Next one, come to the impairment. So impairment is one of the key component I think is very important for us because sometimes it will mislead us with the company performance. With this title that you see, we have the impairment losses. So what actually is this impairment? So impairment is when the company assets like their machineries or their inventory, their resale value, like for example, how much my house worth right now, and I bought it 1 million, but the market price is only 900K, then I unrealizedly lost 100K. If my house value is higher than the market price, then my house is considered as impairment gain. So let us have a more clear example. So this example that we have a machine inventory. So in the previous year, we have it in the factory is 100 million, and this year market value is 90 million. So if I really sell out the machinery inventory in this year, it will only have 90 millions. So which means I will lose 10 million. And this 10 million loss will show on the profit and loss statement, which will directly affect my result. But the machinery inventory we don't sell, right? We will keep using, we will still use the machinery to generate the revenue. So nothing really changed instead of the result. So this impairment loss is not affecting the company fundamental. So this impairment loss is only one time. It's not a prolonged effect. We still use the machinery, but it's just based on the accounting rules we have to put inside the profit and loss. Yeah. So it doesn't affect the company fundamental. So let us have a case study on the MISC, which is a major player in the liquefied natural gas energy shipping. Okay, so these are their profit and loss from the quarter four 2024. So we can see is having a loss 436 million. Yeah, and we can see there are two impairment provisions is saying loss, 241 losses and 735 losses. So normally they will have a explanation note at the 2/3 parts of their quarterly earnings, explaining what are their impairment losses. Then we can more detail, is this impairment one time off or is a prolonged effect. So in this case, MISC has explained. So you can see the impairment losses, the 241 million one is on the receivable, which is the stock, which is their product or services sale, and they didn't collect back the money. So it's losing 241. And for the another one, impairment provision 735 millions, it didn't explain in this, but we can read further. You can always get the explanation note. Okay, until the page 11, we can see they are start to explaining about their ships. So they are doing the energy shipping. So they did have a ships. Okay, so the ships is considered an asset. They are using to generate, but they are doing a net impairment losses ships to 656 million. So now we know the 735 million. The most of it is because the impairment loss of the ships. So they didn't sell the ships. They still have the ships. It's just the ships getting more older. So it doesn't affect their revenue generator. Okay, the ships are there. So when you are reading some news that's saying, oh, this company is making loss, and they will also state down why are the reasons. Like in this case, MISC, the NST also did right, were impacted by increased provision for asset write-downs. So it's just asset write-downs. If we really remove these impairment losses, if we remove this, we use this 735 million, add back to the loss, actually MISC is generating over 300 million. So it's actually making money if you remove the impairment losses. So it's not a prolonged effect, it's only the one-time effect for the quarter four. And then the next quarter is back to normal. But as we said in the beginning, if the YOY and the QOQ are both in red and is making losses, is definitely negatively would affect the share price. So this is the date where the quarter four, the net loss earnings release. In that day, people are panicked when they see both QOQ and YOY is turning in red and the profit is turning in losses. So they will have a panic selling. Start from here and then sell below 7 ringgit, which break the support. Ignore here lah. This is the tariff thing made by the Trumps. So eventually, the next quarter is earnings the money, and the impairment losses is actually not affecting the company fundamental, and it's actually still can be profitable. So when the people start to knowing that, they will keep their shares, and some of them will buy back. So if you see that things come, see that things coming with the one-time losses, and it's an impairment loss, it doesn't affect the company fundamental. It's actually not a one-time losses. It maybe is a one-time chance for you, right? When the people are panic, seeing is dropping and it's red color, not making money, you may have a one-time chances for you to get in, and then have you possibly profit taking. Okay, all right. So to recap the impairment, we have to know, reading it with the explanatory notes to check, is it the impairment is the one time or prolonged. If that is the one time impairment, so the market reactions for the share price could be mild. Yeah, right. So the lastly, we have we have known the QOQ, YOY, we have known the trend pattern, seasonality, and the prospect. The last thing is, how do we check the growth, right? Because in the business cycle, it could be growth and then mature and decline. But if we want to get a sign on when the growth is slowing, how do we check it? Just like our human, we grow from young to the adults. We add 20 cms, getting to be a teen, but add only 5 cm to become an adult. So how do we check which growth stage we are? We are in this 20 cms one or the 5 cms one, right? So I have a metrics to check, is it the growth, is it good or not? Is it slow or still continue? So let me introduce this matrix as CAGR, a compound annual growth rate. You can interpret as average annual growth rate calculated over a specific period. For example, so 2020, the profit is 13, and 2025 is profit 34. So how much percentage, like averagely, every year from 2020 to growth from 13 to 34? So using this formula, we put in the figures from here following the formula, and we can get 21.2% CAGR at 21.2. So which means if you use the 13 to times the 21.2% for 5 times, because it's a 5 years added from 2020, then at the end you should get 34. Yeah, sounds may be very complicated, but I have promised you guys that I have an Excel template, so I have prepared all well for you guys, that easily you can get the CAGR and their growth rate, so you can check their growth still the same from the previous. Let me show you how to do it. Okay, these are the Excel form I have prepared. So in this column, you can see is the quarterly result, revenue and profit. And then you just need to fill in these figures, which is same as what KLSE is showing, right? The revenue and the profit, you just need to put inside this column, then automatically it will help you calculate out the CAGR, the CAGR. Okay, so after you getting the CAGR, I have prepared for you the chart. So this is the CAGR here, and 2021, 2022 growth rate from 2021, and the 2023 and 2024. So you can know, is it the revenue growth rate? Is it still higher than the CAGR? Means the average growth lah. And also the profit. And also you could know the profit margin quarter to quarter, and the profit margin year on year, and also the revenue, and the revenue and profit quarter on quarter. So you just need to key in all the figure which is same as the KLSE info. So for example, let me demonstrate. This is Spritzo. Let's find it. 2021. So I've keyed in, which is exactly the same. 6.1, 6.1, 4.1, yeah, 6 and 8.1, and the revenue are the same. So after I've keyed in all this, then you can use it. So we know the profit growth for 2021 to 2024 is 43%, is higher than the revenue, which is good. Which means the profit growth rate is faster than the revenue, meaning the profit margin is better. Yeah. So the revenue growth, okay, is 20.5%, and the latest 2024 growth is only 18. But we can see it's still growing back, but it still haven't met the CAGR, which is the average annual growth rate. And the profit growth rate is quite sustained. So we can see from 2022, 51.9, although a bit drop from 2023, and now it approached again at 43%. So means currently for the Spritzo, the growth rate is actually faster than the average one. And also this Excel form will help you to calculate out the profit margins quarter on quarter. And we can see it's a growing trend line from 6% to 12 to between 12 and 14%. And also the profit margins is year on year that we can see on every quarter from 2021 to 2025. So for the latest quarter one is showing here, the profit margin is between 12 to 14%, which is the highest profit margin across all quarter ones 2021 until 2024. And also the revenue quarter on quarter is also growing. Yeah, it still look in a healthy trend lines for 2021 until 2025, when the KLSE is only showing 2 years, 2023 to 2025, right? So this is the tool that I have prepared, and I have been always using this to calculate the company growth, to check whether is it still growth in in over an average. Okay. So if you want to get the template what I showed just now, you can WhatsApp this or use your WhatsApp to scan this QR code and tell the dealer that you want it. Then we will send it through your through the WhatsApp. Any questions or any stocks that you want me to use it to present for you? If not, that will be the end. And tomorrow, if is the public holidays for the Bursa Malaysia, is the Awal Muharram. So I wish you guys to have a good long weekend, Friday to Thursday, and see you guys next again. Thank you.